Hey guys. What are some key skills you need when starting an accounting business? Now, this video is actually going to be a little bit different than what I think most people are thinking, right? So I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video, you already have some base level understanding of bookkeeping and monthly accounting services. Now, you don't necessarily need to know how to do tax prep or how to help people lower how much they owe on their taxes, but the bare minimum, you should start to have a minimum viable skill set of the bookkeeping, right? So if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you have that. If you don't have that, there are a number of different courses that you can get on, like how to learn bookkeeping. Now, when I say course on bookkeeping, there's two different types of courses, right? So if I'm going to learn the skill of bookkeeping and accounting, I want to spend a small amount of money. I'll probably spend on Coursera or one of those kind of like online course platforms, anywhere between $20 to maybe $500 just to learn accounting and bookkeeping. It's such a widespread skill set that's taught in schools, universities, online courses, in-person courses, so you don't want to go and break the bank when it comes to that. The courses that you should spend a little bit more money on are courses that are around like getting clients, marketing, and stuff like that. So if you don't have that skill set, I'd recommend going and getting some kind of bookkeeping course. There's a couple of really good ones. One's called Fast and Easy QBO. That's a pretty good one to learn like QuickBooks and the accounting software. Okay, so assuming that you already have that, this is the next set of skill sets you have. Now, number one is going to be your sales skills. So a lot of people think that a bookkeeping business, an accounting business, is about the actual work itself. And for a lot of us, when we have our job in corporate, that's the main thing we do, right? It's like you come to work, you do your accounting, you do your bookkeeping, you go home. But when you're running a business, a lot of it's going to be about drumming up business in that first year. Now, we'll talk about marketing in a second, but the main thing with sales is you have to understand negotiation. So that's how do you communicate what you want from someone? They're going to pose an objection or their opinion or something along those lines, and you have to be able to meet them in the middle, but try and get things in as much of your favor as possible without lowering your price significantly. If you can do that, then you're going to be very well positioned to have a good business. See, the problem people have is that they'll get potential clients and they'll do a consultation call, but the potential client, let's say that the bookkeeper says, okay, I'm going to charge you $600 a month. The potential client goes, no, I don't really think it's worth $600 a month. The bookkeeper goes, how much do you think it's worth? And they're like, I'll do $200 a month. And the bookkeeper instantaneously folds to that. Like, I need the client. They said they only could afford this and blah, blah, blah. So now you're working for $200 a month. Now, for one client, it's not a huge deal, but it's never just one client. That happens, and that pattern happens over and over again. Pretty soon, you're working with 10 clients, and rather than be at $6,000 a month with your revenue, you're only at $2,000 a month because everyone talked you down off the ledge. So you have to get really good at negotiation and like holding your own. Now, second thing is communication, okay? This is actually a very underrated skill set. I do consider it sales. You can even like it's really everywhere that you communicate with potential people. So the sales consultation call, your marketing, after you got them as a client when you're doing your weekly, monthly, or quarterly meetings with them, right? It's how do you communicate with people to get your point across and be very effective at getting what you need out of every interaction that you do. Now, most people, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, and I don't really know you and your situation, so this might not be you, but most people who have never trained any kind of communication or talking skill set have some sort of verbal either tick or habit that generally tends to make them less effective at getting what they want. I'll give you an example. So I was talking to one of my friends on the phone yesterday. He's a newer friend. I met him at a dance class a couple of months ago. He's a cool guy. He's an engineer. Don't ask me what type of engineer he is. I don't know. Didn't ask that far. But he has this one communication hack that causes people not necessarily to like him. I personally don't care because it's not that big of a deal to me. But whenever, okay, I'll give you the example. So we were talking about, okay, do you know so? And he goes, yeah, I think her name starts with a C. And I'm like, oh, I think that starts with a J. And he goes, no, I mean, she does this. She lives here. I was like, yeah, this person lives in this city, right? He goes, yeah, I think so. And then he goes, let me look her up. I'm pretty sure you're wrong, though. And it's like, most people do not like being told they're wrong, number one. And number two, why would you just assume that the other person's wrong? Even if you assume the other person's wrong, you should still say, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Or, I don't know, maybe we can both be right. There's a world where maybe this person can be a twin, right? You have to be able to not necessarily attack the other person's worldview or point of view, or else you lose stats or they get a little irritated with you. But he tends to do that a lot, and at least in every conversation I've had with him, probably every 2 to 3 conversations he'll do something along those lines. But I don't think he was aware of it. And I know he wasn't aware of it because I called him out a couple minutes. Yeah, I think you'd be much more effective at communicating with people if you didn't always put people down randomly. He goes, what? I said, yeah, you generally, if there's ever like conversations like 50-50 can go either way, you tell the other person that they're wrong before you even have proof that they're right or that you're right. He goes, I didn't know I did that. And like a lot of people have different things. I remember those, one person did a consultation call from a mentorship program, and her internet was trash. She was like doing it, her internet was trash. And then, because it kept like freezing, she goes, your internet's really bad. I was like, no, I'm good on my end. And then I said, are you getting a message that says your internet is unstable? She goes, yeah. I was like, that probably means your internet's unstable. But immediately the other person was saying that it was mine, and just without having proof. But that's a negative effect. That's a negative communication pattern. Instead, a good way to do that would be like, hey, is your internet giving you trouble? And then the person say, oh no, it's good. And then you assume it's your internet. You know what I mean? So it's learning how to communicate in a way that gets your point across without negatively affecting another person's mood, state, or view of you. So it's just a lot of people have like little things like that. So really the first thing that you could do is you can start going to people around you that you trust. Not necessarily just random people, but I would go to like maybe some family members and say, hey, do I have any annoying speech patterns or things that I do that irritate you sometimes? Most people aren't going to say anything, but some people will. Then I would start going to like maybe like people that know you, but a little bit less like family ties or tied to your opinions to try and make you happy. I would even then go to your enemies and see what your enemies say. Now here's a weird thing. A lot of people are like, I don't like someone, I don't take any of their advice. For me, a lot of people who don't like you actually say stuff that's pretty true about you. And so I'm not talking about people that are haters on you, or they're always saying something wrong or they're trying to manipulate you, right? Like your arch nemesis at work is like, yeah, I hate you, you're always coming to work late. Or your desk is sloppy. Or this is happening. I would hear what they say and take a mental note. Is it actually true? And then you start learning what are these different things and ticks you out. I'll give you another example. I had a student in our mentorship program, and she had this thing where every single time someone would give her 2 to 3 pieces of information, we'll say 2 to 3 sentences, she goes, okay, so just so I'm on the same page, blah, 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 blah. And when she would repeat whatever she thought you said, her interpretation was exponentially off. And she just kept doing that. So every single time that you would say something, she would just kind of go, okay, so what you're saying is, or, oh, let me make sure I have this understood. That was irritating because then you feel like you have to pause what you're saying and you lose your train of thought. But then when she goes and explains what she thought you said, it's completely on a different planet. And it's just like, bro, like, that's too annoying. Every 5 minutes we talk to you. She goes, I thought the people wanted me to clarify and like to show I'm actually listening. I'm like, yeah, but if you do this and you get it wrong, you just came across like you weren't listening at all. So you're losing so many credibility points every single time you do that. And whenever we would watch her consultation call, she would just keep doing that. So we gave her a couple of speaking tricks that helped her not do that. It was like different note-taking tips and how to ask a guided set of questions where if she did accidentally do that clarification thing, it would be an accurate clarification. So there's a lot of tricks there. But when she stopped doing that, the first client she got was a $50,000 cleanup, okay? Now you're like, $50,000 cleanup? Yeah, so it's basically 2 years of this business that was doing about $2.3 million a year in revenue, right? So it's about $25,000 per year essentially is what the cleanup came down to. But it's because she learned how to communicate better to get a person not to be irritated with her so she wouldn't lose sales and wouldn't lose deals. So if you can understand the communication element and like interpersonal communication, you will move exponentially faster than everyone else. Because remember, this business in the beginning is about how do I relate to this person in front of me to get them to like me, trust me, and then want to pay me. Okay? The next key skill set you have to learn, and this is controversial, it's not marketing. So marketing the way that most people think is not necessarily essential. So most people when they think marketing, whenever I hear someone think about marketing for their accounting or bookkeeping business, like, how do I post? Do I have to like, what do I post? How do I like, in the beginning, you should not necessarily be thinking about 50,000 posts. the bare minimum posting you should be doing is talking about your day-to-day life. Now, I know a lot of you guys hate like influencers where it's, oh, all they do is post about their food or their family or they're at the boat or they're on vacation. People hate that. But there's a reason why they have tons of followers. It's because you're bringing people into your life and people feel like they know you, they feel like they're connected to you. So when you're doing your marketing, I would think of just baby step marketing. How can you do like just one element of your day? Today I got caught in a traffic light. Or let's say you're working at the gym. Just take a picture of the gym. Day 300 in a row at the gym. This is my new weight set. I'm excited. My thing that I do is I like to go and take walks right around my neighborhood, or if I go drive, and I'll take a picture of that, right? And I'll share that with people. Or I used to do a lot of like food, right? So I would talk about, oh, hey, this is the steak that I made today. And those videos would get those pictures would get so much engagement. People that were friends of mine online would comment. People that were potential clients online would comment. And we would have like back and forth conversations. It's about people learning who you are on an ongoing basis. It's not about you trying to be like 50,000 reasons why you need an accountant or 10 reasons why accounting is essential. Right? It's not about that, because in your beginning stages, the clients are going to work with you already know that they need a bookkeeper or an accountant, right? It's very rare when you're first starting out that you're going to convince someone who has a significant amount of money that they should work with it. They're already going to be in market looking for that. So it's more about who do they choose. It's not do they choose a bookkeeper or nothing. It's do they choose Susie, Sally, you, or Quincy. Right? So your content is about showing who you are so that they naturally like you over Susie, Sally, or Quincy. And if you can do that on a consistent basis, you're going to be very good and very effective. So those are the main skill sets that you need outside of the accounting and bookkeeping to start your business in your first year so you can start moving towards the six-figure level, okay? And if you ever want some help growing your business a little bit faster, click the link inside the description below to book a call with myself. Let's see if I can help you inside the mentorship program where everything we talked about in this video is something that we teach you how to do step by step along the way, okay? I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. My name is Bryce.